So seeing the Prophet ﷺ in a person's dream is a very, very generally, it's a very, very um, noble or honorable dream. But seeing the Prophet ﷺ doesn't always mean that it's a good sign. Sometimes it can be a bad sign as well. If you see the Prophet ﷺ in a state which is not normal, not nice, right? When he's sad, when he turns away from you, etc. But seeing him in the dream is a good dream. Scholars differ with regards to seeing the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Whoever sees me in my dream has really seen me, because shaitan cannot take my form." Now, what does this mean? So, if a person sees the Prophet ﷺ, does it mean he's really seen him? So, some scholars say that he has to appear in the form that's been described in the books of Sirah, right, history. And other scholars, they say, no, it's actually in any sort of form. Should one feel guilty for not yearning to see the Prophet ﷺ in a dream? No, not really. Not really. I mean, we all would love to see the Prophet ﷺ. It's just some people want it more, and it's more like on their mind. But no, you wouldn't need to feel guilty about that. Okay. And the other thing we have to remember is, look, we shouldn't like emotionally blackmail other Muslims in like Islamic things. And I think a lot of times what happens is, when speakers give talks, what tends to happen is they might take a particular story of something or a statement, and they'll emphasize it so much that it kind of makes the audience feel as bad as though, why aren't they doing it? So sometimes the scholar will do this to make, like, to get the people to change their ways. For basically, his intention is a good intention. But if a scholar is always doing this and deliberately making the people feel bad about themselves, I think this is a negative thing. We shouldn't be focusing too much on this. I mean, I unfortunately, I sometimes did this in my bayans in the past. But I think it's not really a good thing to kind of mention a story about a particular individual that would spend the whole night in ibadah and then say, what do? You guys do nothing, and stuff like that. I think try to keep it more positive.